Welcome back to the show, and now to our final story. Andrew Lumins once said, drawing is vision on paper. And sometimes to draw, all you need is just a pencil and a piece of paper. These two are the basic resources Liza Ayoo has chosen as an avenue to pour out her creativity and talent, and at the same time, turn it into a booming business. Let us now talk pencil art with this creative. Enjoy. The creatively drawn and uniquely decorated portraits foreshadow a dexterous virtuoso who has clearly mastered the craft of pencil art and has gone out of her way to give it her authentic touch. The artist in question is Liza Ayoo.
I'm Liza Ayoo. I'm 24 years old. So I started with pencil art. I did pencil art graphite kwanza around 2018 after I graduated, because there was nothing I was doing at home. Then now I've advanced to more art. So I've been doing paintings, I've been doing resin, I've been doing woodwork. Yeah, variety of crafts.
Drawing as a child was next to impossible for the artist. Constant pressure to concentrate on schoolwork kept her art at bay, and it is only after clearing school that she decided to spread her wings in art.
I've been drawing since I was little. But then, you know, our parents, they're not the kind to take you to school and you come back home painting or drawing. So it was like, you know what, you have to choose one. You're either going to school to learn, ama utoke, you draw. So of course, you have to do the 844, you have to learn adu malize primary, high school, university, just that. Then I think 2018 was when I was graduating sasa, I tried applying for jobs in my department, but it was a bit hard. I applied for like a year, then I was like, no, I want to do this. So I said, I can do art. So that is now when I started now reviving it. It wasn't lost per se, but yeah, that is when I started reviving it until I got here. I used to do cartoons, animations, yeah? I used to, like, I didn't have to, like, what is it called, tracing. I can like look at you and just draw it and itatokea vizuri. So most of the things that I didn't know by then was just the shading part and maybe painting, you know, like just the technical bits of it, na the theory parts. Because yeah, unjanile tu enye what you know, and that is what you're doing. You see someone, you draw. You see something, you draw it just that way, basically. So I did Sketchmaster. I think you've heard of Sketchmaster. So I went there for like some months. I met artists, met the guy there as well. He's pretty much doing a good job empowering young artists and everything. So that is where I got my skills. I got to also meet artists, and then I was like, wow, okay, fine, it can do well. I saw different types of art.
Several factors undermine the artist's ability to draw from her imagination. As such, her work is lenient on reference as a source of inspiration and champions for the empowerment of the African woman.
When you look at how the time dynamics in Nairobi, first, it means you have to stay at home all this time. You're doing nothing, like totally nothing, not resting, not taking breakfast, not taking lunch, nothing. You just seated there. You're doing something like totally from concentration. No noise, you're blocking everything out. So you get that is kind of hard to get, because where we stay in the residential areas, there's a bit of noise, distractions, everything. If you're working, you have to deal with commuting every other time. That takes like 4 hours in a day. So you can imagine if you want to do something from your head, you'll take like even a year, and people will not understand you have to take a year to do it. Someone kama it's a client, atataka, in a week I want this done, you know, so there's this other bit that they never understand. So it's, yeah, there's that part you can do it from your head, but it takes much time. I think it was the time we were having lots of women issues online. I know it's a very controversial issue, but then I was like, okay, fine. I like what the woman has become up to now. There's the independent bit, which is very controversial as well. But I like we are more, like I can just stand and say, yeah, like I'm confident enough to be in front of a crowd and just be myself. I won't get like so much hostility or something. Like I like where that has gotten. That is when I chose to do this. I think this is an Ethiopian woman. So I was like, well, she's happy, she's smiling, kinda. So I thought it was just nice to have it on paper. Then I decided to like, I can add a bit of fabric to be more African and yeah. From reference, yeah. think I did it when I was moving. I was going to my home county in Homa Bay. So at this time, my parents, they're not like that very receptive to art before, like that is before. But then, I have to do it before them so that they say, okay, fine, we have to accept this anyway. This is what it has become to, like, yeah, then it was just a journey. I wanted to take them through a journey as well. That is what also inspired me to do it, yeah.
If you thought pencil art is just about scribbling papers using pencils, you have something else coming your way. Different types of pencils are used for drawing different portions and parts. Even for a simple task like erasing, the right eraser has to be unleashed and the choice of paper to be used has to be premeditated too.
So for the pencils, the ones I use, like if you look at this, you see there's lighter parts, there's darker parts. So not all pencils can give you the same output. There's the H. H is the neutral, like the neutral pencil. So when you go to the Bs, like 1B, 2B, 3B, they get darker. So you can get as dark as 8Bs. Then past that, you now get the charcoal pencils, which are really, really dark. Then the lighter ones, there's then are like 2H, 3H, 4H. So those are really, really light. You just use them for sketches, like very light sketches, yeah. Now, the rubbers, we have different kinds of rubbers. We have a kneadable eraser, the one that you can mold like clay. So for that one, it's basically you use it to remove excess graphite. You want to do highlights, like when you're doing, see, like there's the way light hits, and then you see there's different parts that are kind of white on your face that are nice on the white part. So that is why you use the kneadable eraser to just like pick those up. Then if you want details, like a very tiny line, a very straight line, you use the mono eraser because it's one that you can actually sharpen to be very sharp, or whichever shape that you want. Then recently I've seen the electric eraser. So it's refillable. So what you do, you can either use an outlet or you can use batteries. So what you just do, you press a button and it rubs for you. So you just have to control it and all, yeah. I also think there's many rubbers that I've not yet explored. If you want different outputs, you have to use different kind of paper. Alafu, also different types of pencils, they need different types of paper. So for like charcoal, it has grains. So you have to use like very heavy paper, like a rough paper. It will be able to hold the grains of the charcoal. For pencil, you can use the canson paper, like those rough papers. But pencil, the more you do layers, the more you get like that shiny effect. Like you see it shining from afar, so you want to be able to see like this is what you're trying to get. Also, if you want to do like very realistic paintings, the pencil drawings, you have to use very rough paper so that you can get the textures and the depth and everything else, yeah. Also, if you're using, let's say, the color pencils, it has to be very smooth paper, like very smooth camellia picture.
The artist is very professional when doing her art business. The way an artist presents themselves to a client tells you a lot about them. It is no wonder that she gets a vast clientele base.
Now, I'll do it in two phases, like before and now. Before, I was now just getting into the market. So someone just approached me like, I want this kind of painting or portrait, this size, I want it in pencil, I want it in paint. So what I'd do, I'd be like, okay, fine, you'll just pay a deposit, then in a week's time you get your piece done, then I deliver it. So with time, that got to be a bit hectic because clientele changes. So you don't meet just the regular person every other time. Someone else will want you to do a quotation, a formal quotation. Someone will want to see your papers in art. Someone will want to see what you've done before. Someone will want to see your portfolio. Then at ukianza, you don't have all that. You're just like, you're still training. You wanted to see how this will turn out. So with time, I got to learn. I need to be very official with my art. So that is when I decided to brand it. I decided to get official documents and papers and everything. Art is very demanding. So the moment you choose to do it with something else, like multitasking with something else, you'll fail on one side. Yeah, because one, if you have clients on art, you give them a timeline. Sometimes you won't meet that timeline because you also have to do other things. So most of the time you get it's something that you have to do full time. So clients, I mostly get them from Instagram or from the word of mouth, or people who you just meet randomly and then they learn that you're an artist and they really, really needed an artist. Or also if it's events, They want something very customized. Yeah, those are mostly the clientele that I get, yeah.
It is no secret that COVID-19 impacted everyone differently, and for the artist, it was time to move online to engage in competitions and network with other creatives. The pandemic was, however, a blow to her business, this adding up to other challenges she goes through.
COVID came, we all went home, we stayed at home. Then at this time, if you remember well, online there was lots of art competitions and what. So there's one that really, was it booming online? The one for Nema. So I was like, okay, fine. I think the theme was restoring something about nature. Yeah, so that is what actually I did most of the COVID period. Yeah, I just like, they gave us like, they usually give those requirements and everything, so you have to create art. They give you time to submit and then the whole of that process. So I took time in doing those competitions. I got exposed to lots of things. I learned many things. I met artists. Yeah, that is basically what happened. Well, for the business, went low, very low. So what we were doing sana needs of competitions, because yeah, there was rewards afterwards. The first, and I think the challenge that goes across board is the lack of support. Mostly if you're from childhood, mostly, yeah. I think that has run across. Because I think where I work at the moment, I work as a craft artist. So I've met people from the corporate world, someone who's over 30s, doing official jobs, and then when they are there, they're like, we never had time or chance to even do this, but now look at me, I'm coming back to this. I want to learn paper crafts, I want to learn woodwork, I want to do this and that, you see. So then you learn there's not been much of that enabling environment for people, for such kinds of people. Yeah. Then now, maybe the major challenge is, you see these people who call you for events. They call you for events, you spend so much transporting your stuff. Then at the end of it all, it's a profit on their side, and then it's not a profit on your side. So most of these things, we've seen artists being used. So unakuja hapo na psyche zako with your pieces, you're hoping to sell, you're hoping to market and everything, but nothing. Well, that's what happens. So you see, you've wasted like a whole day, you've wasted transport. Alafu, hiring a pickup to carry your stuff, season mingi maybe, it's like expensive, but trip is 2K. So you can imagine you've spent all that, then you go back with nothing. It's kind of not making economical sense. So it's mostly a challenge.
In as much as our country is transforming in terms of curriculum improvements that incorporate art education, a lot still has to be done to sensitize Kenyans on the value of art.
I think it's still a challenge. It's still a challenge, though we are opening up to it. Because I've seen, I don't know if I can call this improvements, but I've seen parents who've discovered their kids can actually do art. And then they're like, fine, you can actually just do art. Like from this point, that kid is maybe 8 years old. So at that time, ameweza kupatiwa like that full specialization, you're going to do art. So it's coming up, but then we need to do much more as a country, as a people, and everything. Because most people also don't like, you see, like the main aim of someone producing is for your customer to notice. But now we don't have that kind of, is it a customer base? They don't understand, like they don't really understand what these products are for, what exactly it takes to come up with them, why they're usually priced this way. Like there's just much that needs to be done for people to actually now accept that art is also some kind of a product. On social media, Sunville Art Center on IG. Yeah. Mostly I'm on IG, not very active, but you can find me there. Well, my art, I think and I believe my art is quality. I can customize this stuff to what you want, and I believe people like unique stuff. So wezi kuja and you want something that is just everywhere else. If you want them customized, I believe I can give that, and that is my major selling point.